Hello everybody, this is John Block, and today we're announcing the first ever Banned America podcast. The entire point of this broadcast is to give a voice to conservative Americans who've been stripped of their right to speak. We will discuss many different people who've been banned and quite frankly don't deserve to have been taken from social media, news, and streaming platforms like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and others. These companies' censorship attempts to destroy and delegitimize our message simply because some might find it offensive. Or as the platforms like to say, it quote-unquote violates their community standards. The massive move to censor truth extends far beyond social media, even as far as into Congress, where we see good-spirited, honest patriots forced out of committee assignments or publicly decried because their words have been taken out of context. On the other hand, radical leftists who call for the destruction of America's most treasured allies while spewing hatred and bigotry are allowed to run free and frolic about, essentially untouchable. This is not something that we are willing to stand for, and we will fight back. This podcast, which cannot be ripped from this site by anyone, is here so that we can give a voice to America-loving patriots across the country who have been blocked but sure as hell won't be silenced. Welcome to the first ever Banned America podcast. I'm John Block, your host. Tonight we see for the second week in a row, Judge Jeanine Pirro's show yanked off the airwaves to apparently never see the light of day again due to Never Trump Republicans and offended Democrats who don't like comments Judge Jeanine made about a certain member of Congress who has pledged allegiance to the state of Palestine and essentially called for the destruction of Israel. Obviously, Rupert Murdoch, his son, and the board of directors, which now includes Speaker Paul Ryan, is completely and unequivocally deciding to not listen to the American people who want Judge Jeanine back on the air, and instead listening to their never-trumping swamp rat ideology that is meant to destroy our country. The once conservative firebrand network is now relegated to the likes of CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, and The New York Times. This decision by Fox News to suspend Judge Jeanine, I would say, is one of the worst decisions they could have ever made in the company's history. After 10 loyal years of my Fox viewership, I am refusing to watch Fox News ever again because they have destroyed what it means to be an American patriot. And that means destroying the right to a First Amendment. Judge Jeanine Pirro's show was one of the last ever real patriotic American shows left on the network, and unfortunately, because they are now kowtowing to radical Islamic extremists in Congress and trying not to offend those who actively have criticized Fox News in the past, are now jumping on the Fox News train, including that of, yes, Paul Ryan, and this week they just hired Donna Brazile. Judge Jeanine Pirro in her show brought up an invaluable point and a question for Ilhan Omar. All she asked was, how can someone like Omar be loyal to the Constitution while they follow Sharia law? And judging by Omar's anti-Semitic history and her obvious different way of using words, as Nancy Pelosi will say it, has called for the destruction of Israel and Palestine to exist exclusively in the region. That is what Omar has suggested, that's what Omar has said, and simply by asking a question by the judge about why Omar is allowed to spew such hatred and anti-Semitic propaganda, while we have to shut the hell up if Omar says a thing that we disagree with. If you look at Sharia law, and you look at how the Quran is written, there are many problems when it comes to the interpretation and when it comes to the implementation of Islam. And when you see this oppressive Islamic regime fighting for Ilhan Omar, which comes in the form of the group CARE, which is run by Hamas, you see that there are radicalists in the party that Omar is attempting to infiltrate. And you'll also see that there are so many people in the Democrat Party that are fed up with Omar and fed up with her anti-Semitic, disgusting views against Israeli people and Jewish people in general. And to call Jews Benjamins, and to ask for Allah to shine above the state of Israel, that's offensive to the Israeli people and to these people who have fought death and destruction in order to get their space, their lawfully God-given space in Israel. And when Judge Jeanine asks a simple question, how can Ilhan Omar be both loyal to the United States Constitution, which grants freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, as well as being loyal to Sharia law, an oppressive and evil interpretation of the Quran, which calls for gay people to be thrown off buildings and for women to be mutilated and not have civil rights? That's a simple question that she asked. And by wearing a hijab, which is Sharia law, you are submitting to this radical ideology. And how can you sift both that ideology versus the real American patriotic constitutional values that we as Americans hold dear? Those are two completely different points. And to say that Judge Jeanine Pirro was being somehow offensive by asking a simple question about someone's radical beliefs is simply unacceptable for Fox News to cancel Judge Jeanine's show, and it's despicable that for the second week in a row, she's been silenced, not being able to even speak to her viewers because of a non-compete by Fox News and their disgusting, despicable aspects of their disgusting network. This is absolutely unacceptable, and we should not ever stand for this in our country. Americans need to stand up and say, screw you, Fox News. Screw you, you fake, disgusting news. We have been banned. This is a ban on freedom of speech, and simply asking a journalistic question and answered simply with a yes or a no. Can you be loyal to your Quran and your radical Sharia law, or can you be loyal to the United States Constitution? It's not a radical question, but you see, Fox News is all in with their radical extremist beliefs, obviously, because they still have radicals like Shepard Smith on the payroll. They have never Trumping people like Brett Baier, who we'll go into a little later. And we also have these radical Democrats like Donna Brazile, who leaked debate questions to Hillary Clinton to help her rig the election. And now she's a contributor on Fox News. And just the other day, she was on Hannity, and she was saying, oh, hey, boo, you know what? You should have a little more respect for Sean Hannity. He's a great patriotic American. And there's rumors out there that are saying that Sean Hannity is considering leaving Fox News after the end of his contract. And you know what? God bless him. Get the hell out of that disgusting place. Fox News is just a swamp now. And you know what? Fox News has amazing talent there, and it's a damn shame that these people have to be tied to such an idiotic network. We have great people like Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, and Tucker Carlson, who are total awesome patriotic Americans, but they're silenced, obviously, by the radical extremists at Fox News. Judge Jeanine Pirro is a great patriotic American. And to silence such a beautiful American voice who simply wants to ask questions and to get to the truth, that isn't journalism, folks. That isn't journalism. That is what I call a fake news network that is working in tandem with the likes of never Trumping Republicans like the former Arizona Congressman and Senator John McCain, Jeff Flake, and others such as Mitt Romney, who now has won his election as a United States Senator in Utah, which we'll go into a little bit more in another episode. But you see these kinds of people. They're the ones that are turning Fox News' gears and trying to keep it afloat. But the real American viewership, the people that voted for President Donald John Trump in 2016, and the people who will vote for him again in 2020, These are not never-Trumping rhinos that live in the Beltway, think that they're better than the whole world, and can't wait to tell the whole world about it when they get on their Fox News show every day. That's the problem we have here. And I have no problem with people having different opinions than I do, but silencing Judge Jeanine is wrong. Just because you don't agree with her doesn't mean you get the right to silence her and shut her off her show just because she asks a question that you may be offended by. I never realized how someone's offenses on the left by a Democratic radical like Ilhan Omar are turning the gears of Fox News. It's terrible. It's terrible that this is the person that is driving Fox News's entire opinion section. And now we see Bret Baier, you know, that producer on his show that wrote on Twitter how she was so offended. Oh, I'm so offended about the comments made by Judge Jeanine Pirro. And this Hoofsa Kamal, I don't know if I'm saying that right. If I'm not, who gives a damn? But the thing is, this woman here, she is a producer on Bret Baier's show. And apparently, Bret Baier, according to the Gateway Pundit and a source they have, and they don't list the source, so I'm not going to trust it fully, but it says that Bret Baier is one of the contributors to this silencing of Judge Jeanine Pirro. And there you go. That would make perfect sense. The person who's calling for Judge Jeanine's besmirchment is the producer on Bret Baier's show, and Bret Baier's obviously a never-Trumping Republican, so it would stand to reason that they're somehow tied. So I'm not going to make false conclusions on this, but I'm just saying there's probably a little more down there, and a little more in the leadership against Judge Jeanine Pirro. So the son of Murdoch, the son of Rupert Murdoch, who is now the chairman of Fox News, is now driving this policy, driving this anti-Trump, Judge Jeanine hating policy meant to silence conservative voices, which is exactly the opposite of what we're looking to do in this country, and is antithetical to American patriots who simply want to hear real news and simply want to get to the truth. That's all they want. American patriots like me and like you, we want to get to the truth. We want real American news. We want real news with real facts without these random sources in the background and without these large coups to take out conservative firebrands like Jeanine Pirro simply because she says the truth. And for years, Jeanine Pirro has been an amazing, remarkable woman who has simply asked questions, simply gotten to the truth, and simply been a just and very profound voice in the conservative movement and the political sphere in general, crossing party lines many times, especially living in New York, where she was the district attorney of a large community out there. So getting back to the point, this will not be taken well. Jeanine Pirro is an American icon, and one of the main drivers that began the Banned America podcast and Banned America is the disgusting, despicable silencing of Judge Jeanine Pirro from Fox News. We need to fight back. And the deal is that if we don't fight back, we lose, and we lose our rights. Obviously, Fox News is more interested in making money off of the liberal and the never Trump train, and that's perfectly fine. Fine. We will go to other networks. We will go to The Blaze. We will go to One American News Network. We will watch NRA TV. We will watch Newsmax. We will read Breitbart. We will read the Daily Caller. We will read anything but Fox News. So something you can do right now is go on your phone, look through your apps, find your Fox News app, click it, and delete it. These people do not deserve a dime more of your money by watching their stupid ads on their website. They don't deserve a second more of your time reading their biased and despicable news. And furthermore, we should all be getting right around Judge Jeanine Pirro and showing her that we support her by taking to social media, taking to Fox News, and flooding, and I mean flooding, Fox News comments on every single post they make on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Flooding it with comments saying how angry we are that Judge Jeanine Pirro is not on the air, and we will not stop until you are brought to justice. Your commie news team, including Donna Brazile, Shepard Smith, Brett Baer, and all the other never-Trumpers, are gone. Today, we are sick, we are tired, and we are not going to sit around and do nothing anymore. The point of this broadcast is not to trash Fox News. It's not. The point of this broadcast is to give a real voice to real patriots who love their country. And someone like Judge Jeanine Pirro being silenced will not be taken well from me, from you, and from the entire conservative movement, which has never seen such despicable and anti-First Amendment BS in a very long time. So I thank everyone for tuning into the podcast and for listening to the opinions of many Americans that I've heard speaking about this huge issue, censorship in the media. We need to stand together. We need to make sure that we all have the same support for every conservative that's a pro-Second Amendment, pro-life, and pro-America person, just like Judge Jeanine. This can't happen alone. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We have to stick together. We have to make sure that we are all working together to get our voices heard. Since Fox News isn't listening to us, don't listen to Fox. Listen to any other news source like the ones we just listed. Breitbart, Daily Caller, One American News, NRA TV, Newsmax, The Daily Signal, anything but Fox News. Fox News has done nothing for us, so let's do nothing for them. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Band America podcast. We look forward to many more episodes in the future, and we thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week, and God bless you.